It's through the way Honorable Mpunda said, and also let me just add to what he has said. We are here now at the Media Center because of its outcome from the benchmarking which we have been doing. When we were in Kenya, we saw a lot of members of parliament that have got media center, which they always use and update their constituencies and the country of the happenings. Because when you go into parliament, you can't speak all of you at once. So every week we have got issues which are coming from our constituencies and different constituencies across the country. So that's why we have decided to say now we need to use this media center the way our fellow honorables, where we have been going. For example, where I've said to say in Kenya, they always use media center every week. That's why Honorable Binwa Mpundu has said that every Thursday now, we as independents will be having media briefing here at Media Center at Parliament Building, because this is the Parliament. When we are here, we are enjoying Parliament privileges. So it's just the same. If we are speaking here, it's the same as we are speaking in Parliament. Thank you. So for the people of Petauke and Zambia at large, I think you remember when we opened Parliament on Tuesday, I had a matter which I had taken into Parliament, which up to now hasn't been answered. So we have decided also maybe when we use this platform, maybe the executive can answer the same question. And the people, they should know to say, yes, indeed, we represent their challenges, so that the executive should give the solution to the people. This is why the people voted for us. Voted for us to bring the challenges to the executive so that they can give the solutions. So I'll start with the first issue which I had taken to the August House on Tuesday about the hunger crisis in Petauke Central Constituency and Zambia at large, even the whole Eastern Province. I'm sure that that question, the matter of urgent public importance, directed to our Honor the Vice President. I'm sure, yes, I can agree with our Honor the Vice President. It was a packed message, well packed, which it was difficult for her to answer, but I'm sure they have sat down and then they have worked on it. I'm sure they will give solution. So the people of Petauke, right now when you come to Petauke, there's too much hunger, where people right now, even just to have food on the table, they are even buying maize bland. So you can imagine if the situation has leaked at that level, which means things are not good. That's why we asked Her Honor the Vice President to say, can you declare the hunger crisis so that it should be a national disaster, so that other well-wishers can come on board to help Zambia, because it's not good. Because the resources which we have, using these our minerals, the resources of our country, it's not the resources for us leaders who were elected. These resources are the resources for the people who voted for us. Us, we are just like administrators, where someone has died, and then the family sit down, choose for an administrator to spearhead the affairs of those wealth which the deceased left. This is just the same. Even us, that's why we are voted in. It's not our money. It's not government money. But it's the money for the people. So when the people, they have got challenges, government should come in using the same money to give solution to the people. Like in this hunger situation, government should come in to give relief food. We don't have time now to start doing blame game, this and this and this. We are calling for government right now to give relief food to each and every Zambian. And also in Eastern Province. Eastern Province, we are very surprised, because I'm sure it's the same issue. Eastern Province, we are very surprised because Eastern Province is part of Zambia. The people of Eastern Province, on their NRC, there is Zambia. But I'm surprised where the government, anyone who wants to order mealie meal to take it to Eastern Province, they require to say, we need payment. Now, how can the government ask the businessmen from Eastern Province for a payment, whilst in Eastern Province, we are the one who are supplying this raw material to come up with mealie meal? Because it's Rumezi. Right now, when you go to Rumezi, we go to Petauke, you find trucks are loading mealie meal to bring to Lusaka as raw material for maize. But it's so surprising that now when we want to get maize, because when you come to Petauke, Rumezi, they don't have a milling plant. And all of us in Eastern Province, we depend on the milling plants which are here in Lusaka, where we expect these other provinces, the way they move with mealie meal, that's the way Eastern Province is supposed to move with mealie meal. I'm sure that we can cushion even the hunger crisis which is there. Because if me have got money, if mealie meal is there in Petauke or in Rumezi, at least I can use even my allowance to buy the little mealie meal, the mealie meal which I can afford, even share with the people. But now you find that even where to buy mealie meal, it's not there. The reason it's businessmen, they are not used themselves to come here to Lusaka to start spending money to fight for a permit so that they can take mealie meal to Nyimba, Petauke, Nsinda, Rumezi, until Chama. It's not possible. Nowadays, things have changed. Where someone, if he's ordering, even in Dubai, a lot of businessmen, they don't even go to Dubai. It's just the same. They just order through internet. And then they'll be given a bank account, they'll pay. So it's the same even in Eastern Province. Businessmen are used. They'll just call a supplier. Either it's national meeting, or Pembe meeting, any African meeting, to say, no, I want 20 ton. Oh, give me the account, I'll pay, I'm sending a truck. But now they want that businessman to be coming to Lusaka, to go to the ministry, start applying. They are not going to manage. Because who is going to manage the business back in the province? It's difficult. That's why we are asking the executive to say they should remove that SI where Eastern Province, anyone who wants to do business of mealie meal within Eastern Province is required to have a permit to move mealie meal from Lusaka to Eastern Province. We are asking because we are the one, when you are getting the raw material for maize, which is the raw material for mealie meal, which is maize, you don't ask us to have a permit to bring maize to Lusaka. We just bring maize freely without a permit. This is the way we are supposed to move mealie meal from Lusaka to Eastern Province. And also, the government shouldn't choose which district to give relief food. Because you can imagine, the whole province, all the district, some of them, they have been given. But in Petauke, we haven't received any relief food. And even those permits, who are getting those permits, for example, in Eastern Province, when you come to Eastern Province, you find that the minister of Eastern Province, when you go to Mambwe, is the only one who is allowed to trade into mealie meal, his shop. Now, is this what we want? This is not what we want. Let each and everyone be free the way it was to order. If they are scared to say some people can start smuggling mealie meal into the neighboring country, they should put security. We have got enough security. If security is not enough, then they should do more recruitment to put security across the borders, so that at least they can catch what they are looking, not just in Petauke, in Nyimba, Nsinda, Rumezi, and all the districts to say no, they need a permit. No, on that one we are asking. The other issue, second issue, I know we are a lot of vulnerables and we have got a lot of issues, but I've got only the last one, the matter of urgent public important, which I raised today, which I was curtailed. And it was concerning the Minister of Information, which we said, I asked our honor, it was directed to our honor, the Vice President in the House. I said to say, a minister, a cabinet minister, or just a minister, whatever a minister says, it's policy. It's policy. Whatever a minister issued, there's no jokes about minister. It's policy. So now, what the minister issued about to say the government, they are the ones who are sponsoring tribalism. And where the president, every time when he's talking, always he talks about unity, about to bring everyone together. Now, if the minister now of information, who is government chief spokesperson, give a policy about tribalism to say it's government sponsoring tribalism. Where are we? That's why today we have seen there's an audio, senior member of the party warning matter. We have never seen that. But I'm not surprised because everyone knows to say when the minister says, which means it's policy. So we are asking the executive, the leader of government business in the House, to give proper direction. We know the minister has already given a direct policy saying that they are the ones sponsoring tribalism, who are sponsoring tribalism, but now we are asking them to tell the Zambian people where they are standing about this tribalism. Because this tribalism can set this country, can put this country to war. So we are asking, we are giving the executive, even the Minister of Information, 48 hours to give proper policy than the policy he gave about tribalism. And also we are asking the president also to come and tell the Zambian people about what the minister said. Either they are going to distance or what they should tell us. And also that senior member who won the matter, also the government to give also to condemn it. If indeed whatever the policy was given, those members are not following the policy, because tribalism has got no space in our country. We don't need tribalism. If I'm in Luapula, I'm at home. If I'm in Western Province, I'm at home. If I'm in Southern Province, I'm at home. If I'm in Northwestern, I'm at home. I'm not supposed to say no, because there, even if we are eating sand, then me, I can't go to Mwata. Why? A chief is your chief. Even at your NRC, there's a chief. And a chief in Eastern Province, it's the same chief, it's the same way you're supposed to respect a chief in Southern, in Luapula, in Northern, in everywhere. Because chiefs are treated equally. Thank you.
So colleagues, thank you very much. I will, I will ask my colleagues who are remaining to speak to be mindful of time, because we are supposed to head into the house. So like I did intimate to you, we are joined by our fellow Member of Parliament from Lumezi, Honorable Mnia Zulu. At this stage, perhaps let me start with Honorable Chonde from Milenge. Then we can, get back to Honorable Mnia so that he can, pick his footing. So Honorable Chonde.
Thank you very much, honorable colleagues, the media. It's always been a pleasure, interacting with you to update you on issues that are affecting our communities. As leaders, it's our responsibility to stand with the weak. In this case, the weak are the communities that we represent. So I will not speak to a lot of things. Obviously, my colleagues will speak to some of them. It's our first day and we're excited to interact with you. And hopefully we'll be on the same trajectory until we come to the end of this tenure. So I'll speak to the teachers' recruitment. This matter, colleagues, to be straightforward, it lacks transparency. It's not fair, We have had a lot of challenges that, honorable members of parliament have raised in parliament, in Lundazi, in Chiengi, in Milenge, in Manyinga. Some of them want even to take these matters, into their own hands. So we are calling on government to relook at the teachers' recruitment. Because if you look at all these representatives, and I'll give you an example of Milenge. We were promised that the teachers' recruitment will be decentralized. Obviously, the translation is that we need to start the recruitment at the district level. So all the people that in Milenge that were seemingly recruited at the district level, only one reappeared out of the list of all the teachers that were recruited in Milenge. So, and this has been, the trend is consistent. So all we are saying is teachers recruitment for this year, can I call it this year? Last year. It lacks transparency. And we're wondering, where are these children coming from? Obviously, from where I stand from, I would say these are children of our colleagues in the executive, because they are not present in Milenge. They are not present in Chienge. They are not present in Lundazi, where the member of parliament raised the issue. We've seen even in Northwestern province. So this is a very sensitive matter. We ought to learn to hear from the Minister of Education. We are here for the people. And if they're weak, there are people that do not have any connections. And we are here to govern the Zambian people equally. So we are calling on the government of the day, the UPND government in particular, to relook, if not recalling the teachers' recruitment, because it's a scandal. It lacks transparency. It's not fair. For those that do not have way to stand, I don't even know where we're talking about rural constituencies here in Milenge, where there's just one person who probably could be the first person to have been trained as a teacher. And then all the lists that came from Milenge into Mansa, as an example, it's just an example, because this result is very consistent in all the constituencies. So the teachers are coming from our colleagues who are in the executive. So we are calling on the executive to relook at the teachers' recruitment for 2023. And we don't want this thing to continue, because it was so consistent. Even Ministry of Health, it's the same thing. So we don't want to mock the Zambian people that we've recruited number. If they want, they must say they've recruited relatives. Then we will have no problem with it. And then my second issue, just a quick one, Honorable, is just the inconsistency in the agriculture policy is very worrying. It's extremely worrying. Today I read somewhere in the media center, something that the members of parliament had called for earlier in the year, last year, to suspend the export of the export of maize. Only today, because now we are faced with the drought. And we are so desperate. That is the situation. The future is, if you go in the east, the fields are drying up. The reserve, the stocks that were there, they were all sold out. The members of parliament called for this government to have a proactive stance, not to allow the exports of maize. Today, the whole year, 2 years have been issuing permits. Now today, the storage sheds are empty. The yields it's not promising. So this government must have a listening ear. They're in government, and the idea why we check on the government is to allow them to listen to the opposing view. We knew this thing was going to go wrong. We knew this thing was going to go wrong. I only fear for the Zambians how much will be the bag of meal in the next 1 month, or in June next year, where hunger is roaming. I think it's here, and it's going to be here. For us to recover this, it will require 3 seasons for Zambia to recover, to have the stable food supply. I think with those few words, I'm not here to waste too much of your time. It's a first show. We'll have more issues to come, and we'll, obviously many more issues. You'll still have a chance to pose questions after the program. Honorable Member.
Thank you so very much, colleagues. I did want Honorable Mnia to speak now, but let me speak, and then I will allow Honorable Mnia to close this interaction. So, colleagues in the media, fellow citizens, I thought I could, speak to you or interact with you on 2 issues. First of all, I want to start by commiserating with the people of Kitwe, Nkana in particular, our traders in Chisokone market. Yesterday in the wee hours, we awakened up to a very sad story where the local authority decided to demolish some shops in Chisokone market. Surprisingly, a day before yesterday, Minister of Local Government had walked to me, in Parliament to consult me on how he thought we should, or how I thought we should approach the issue of Tsokone Market. Those of you, our colleagues who have paid attention to activities in the media, would remember that not long ago, I did intimate to this issue or the looming disaster at Tsokone Market, namely that there was a standoff between the local authority and the traders at Tsokone Market. Now, I am very privileged to have served the city of Kitwe as district commissioner. At some point, we did find money for the modernization of Tsokone Market. I think then we had Felix Mutati serving as Minister of Finance. And so we did lobby with the Chamber of Mines, who had set aside funds for the modernization of Tsokone. Now, what that meant would have been, we would have added 3-story structure at Tsokone Market. Now, if you talk about modernization of Tsokone, that would have been the ideal situation of what we would call modernization of Tsokone Market. Now, one would ask why we did not proceed. Why we did not proceed is that we did not have a buy-in from the traders. Okay, because what we believe in for some of us who are in leadership today is that development must be people-centered. If people don't buy into your development, activities, don't do it, because you are doing it for who? Okay, so at that time when I served as DC, we did decide to stall the plans to modernize the Tsokone Market because the traders did not have a buy-in. Today, our friends in the ruling party decide to embark on what they are calling modernization of the Tsokone Market by building 18 or 90 shops. Now, those of you who are familiar with Tsokone, the frontage of a place we call the Green Market has got about 90 shops. Now, those of you, again, who are familiar with market, buildings, Tsokone Market is extremely different from City Market. City Market is fully built up by government. Tsokone Market is what we may call a community market because all the structures you see at Tsokone Market have been built by the traders themselves. All those shops you see in Tsokone Market, there is no authority that would claim they built those market, shops. All those were built by the traders. To an extent such that a trader today would sell off a shop to another person. So at some point, Elvis Nkandu, if he's a very honest man, would tell you they had taken this matter to court to challenge, the legalities of the council's claim that that market belongs to the council. And if my memory serves me right, the ruling then was that that market belongs to the community. The traders owns that market. So the council today decides to demolish these structures that were built by the traders themselves. The misgivings of the traders were very simple. They wanted themselves to do the actual building. Remember, the fears of the marketeers were that if the council builds these said shops, they will own them. It means that they take away the ownership from the traders. The council, owns those, shops, and they can at will decide how much rentals these traders would then be charging. And there are also fears that because the numbers that are being proposed of the shops to be built, more than 90, means that these friends of ours are creating room to give shops to their cadres. Okay, so these were very few, lamentations that were coming from the traders. And one would have thought that a listening government, a listening leadership would have, paid attention to the lamentations from these traders. Alas, even after, the minister comes for a consultation, in the night they proceed to demolish these shops. Fellow citizens, at a time like this, when this country is facing terrible times in terms of the status of the economy, it is very evil of a government elected by the people to go and destroy the simplest means of livelihood for the people that have been trading in that section of Tsokone that has been, demolished. You can think whatever you may want to think. We are not politicking here. Like I've already intimated, we ourselves, and myself as an example, we have had that opportunity to do what we needed to have been done at Tsokone. We didn't proceed then because we thought development must be people-centered. You must listen from the people to whom you provide leadership. But today, this government, the UPND government, decides to punish the very people that gave them power. and demolish those shops. If you go to Tsokone today, it's a very sad day for those marketeers. Remember, government will not have an opportunity to employ all those traders because Tsokone market has got 22,000 traders, if not more. Are you telling me this government will have the ability to employ all those traders? And those traders don't want to be employed. They've found the means of survival. They are trading, they are serving the community through the trading activities. Somebody today in their right frame of mind decides to go and destroy a means of livelihood for our traders. My fellow traders at Tsokone market, my people in Nkana, do not weep, for the hour is here. You are now sure, or you now know that you are dealing with an evil regime. Because if we continue on the journey with these guys called the UPND, you know what your lives will turn out to be. Now, I say this passionately because not long ago, colleagues, I was having an interaction with about 1,000 young people in Kitwe who are in the business of mobile money transactions. Again, these young people had their booth destroyed and they've been thrown in the court. What sort of a government does what is happening today? Are you telling me, fellow citizens, a responsible government would do what they are doing today at a time like this when the economy is on its knees? The answer is not a reasonable government would do what is happening in Kitwe and elsewhere. So I leave it to you, the citizens, particularly in Kitwe, to judge for yourselves. If you are to give these people more time, or it's about time that we got together and decide what needs to be decided. The second issue, colleagues, I want to speak to is the issue of, poor decisions at the Bank of Zambia. Not long ago, we did hear the announcement that the Bank of Zambia had decided to increase, the reserve ratio. I'm not an economist myself, and so whatever I may submit here is subject to rebuttals, and I've always said this. But in simple terms, where the reserve ratio is basically, an instruction that the central bank would give for the minimum, liquidity that a bank can hold. Now, when a bank or when the central bank decides to increase the reserve ratio, what they're basically trying to do is to reduce liquidity from circulation. They're basically trying to dictate how much commercial banks should hold in terms of cash. Today, this economy is extremely dry. There's no money. Who would challenge me today that there's any money, today? Your eyes would run dry for looking for 100 kwacha today. It's extremely dry. But the central bank, in their quest in inverted commas, to try and reduce the buying power, because in the thinking of Honorable Tumbeko Musokotwani and his colleague, the Bank of Zambia governor, they are thinking that people have got too much money, and because they have got too much money, there's a high demand for buying of foreign currency. But you all know, friends from the media, fellow citizens, that there's nobody who has money today. So what they're basically doing through that decision is to continue to stifle the economy by reducing and sucking out all the liquidity out of the economy. Now, for me as a layperson, I would have hoped that the Bank of Zambia could have done something different. Of course, these are temporary measures, but this is something that has been done over and over again. You know what they say about insanity? Insanity is doing the same things and expecting different results. The Bank of Zambia has been on this journey, increasing the reserve ratio from time to time. The results have been the complete opposite of what they expect. Now, the sad part is that other than just increasing the reserve ratio, just yesterday, we had another announcement to the effect that the Bank of Zambia, again has decided to increase the policy rate. Now, colleagues, the policy rate simply means that interest rates for you to walk into the bank and get a loan has been increased. For all the Zambians today who have gotten a little loan from the bank, just know that you have to pay more money because the rate at which you borrow that money has now been increased. Can you imagine what now is happening? You are already punishing the very people that have had to struggle to get the little money that is available in the economy. You want to stifle them further. What does that then mean, colleagues, fellow citizens? It means that there is very little money now in the economy for the banks to lend out. And for the little money that is there, you have to get it with your sweat. You have to pay exorbitant interest. And this is a government that had been voted on the premise that they were going to, push for lower interest, rates. The opposite is what is happening. I think it's become now typical of the UPND government that they will speak with one voice about what they intend to do. In another breath, they'll do completely the opposite. We want to leave it to you, fellow citizens. Time has come that you take an interest in these national matters. Like I did intimate, these are just going to be platforms that we are going to use to speak to you. But we also want you to take an interest in the matters that are unfolding. Allow me at this stage to invite my fellow Member of Parliament, Honourable Member for Lumezi, Honourable Munia Zodu.
Thank you, friends, and thank you, members of the press. I think my friends have said a lot of pertinent issues, but let me start by speaking to you, the press, that are the fourth estate. Colleagues, we cannot continue to be marketing lies. You are the fourth estate, and lies should have limits to which one can go shopping with them. The more you colleagues cover lies, you are making citizens believe the lies. You are the fourth estate, and I think you must get to a point where you can say these are lies, you are not going to cover them as well. I think this is where we need you the most, the media, so that you help the citizens understand the difficulties that we are going through. This is a government. My address is going to be mainly centered on national unity, because I raised the matter of urgent public importance over the issue of Barotseland, directed at Her Honor the Vice President. The answer was not given. You citizens will not help, you members of the press will not help us to say when there was a Sujilite scandal, the Honorable Minister for Luapula, Chilundika, was arrested by the police and dumped in the cells when there was no video footage of Honorable Chilundika. Where there is video footage of the former Foreign Affairs Minister, Stanley Kaku, there is no arrest. What are you guys doing about it? You write about it casually. Stanley Kaku warned and questioned when a Bemba-speaking MP was in the cells. From here, he was transported into Mansa in Luapula. And then when you come into Parliament to raise issues of tribalism, you are told we can't talk about tribalism. You can only stop talking about something when you found a solution to it. And you can only have a solution when you talk to it. The UPND is practicing the worst tribal politics ever witnessed in the history of this country. And us being told not to talk about it from the House of the People is an insult to our conscience. I think we can no longer pretend that this country is not divided. In fact, Zambia is more divided on tribal lines than on political lines. Politically, we are not divided. We are divided on tribal lines. That is the biggest elephant in the room, tribalism. So to pretend that we should not talk to the ills of tribalism, I think is insanity of the highest order. How possible is it that Umozi Kumawa is condemned? Kola Foundation is condemned. Barotseland secessionists, everyone is mute. And then you say we can't talk about tribalism in this house, in this parliament? UPND should start counting their days. We shall not remove them on political lines. If this is the route they've taken, we are going to remove them on tribal lines.
Yes.
We are going to go tribal because they're practicing it and they don't want us to condemn it. Even amongst their own MPs, there are MPs that are speaking to us. There are MPs that are praying that we had gone with them to meet the Mwata when the Mwata invited us. And there are MPs that want us to represent them as we go to Eastern Province. There are MPs that want to represent them when we go to meet Chitimukuru. So, if they don't want to listen to the ills of tribalism, we shall help them. I know, even the composition of us here, to them it's tribal, but I'm not ashamed to say we can no longer continue to pretend that all is well. We can't continue to pretend. They're practicing it, and then they don't want us to condemn them. How? If they don't want us to talk to the ills of tribalism, let them stop practicing tribalism. If you come here to Parliament, assess privately, you are journalists, assess all the recruited members of staff, the support staff, be it the waitresses, the waiters. Trust me, you realize that tribalism is deeply embedded in them.
Yeah.
The majority of them are of those that speak the Zambezi languages. It's a fact. I don't like to speak to fiction. Even those who save us water, a lot of them have been kicked out. If you are a Piri out, you are a Zulu out, you are Mpundu out, you are a Chibufia out, here at Parliament. These things are happening, and they don't want us to speak to them. There are a lot of trainee staff that have been recruited. Most of them are from one side of the country. If we don't speak to it, they'll continue practicing it. I would rather I condemn tribalism than practice it. What they're doing is dividing this country to the worst levels. And I think posterity will judge us harshly if we do not condemn the ills of this regime. Honestly, we're elected to come and speak on behalf of the people. Parliament has become so boring such that you are being told not to debate. Then why am I here? Why are you paying me 2,000 kwacha for sitting allowance? I should just sit in there and admire Nelly Muti. Honestly, I should be paid 2,000 kwacha to admire Nelly Muti in Parliament.
She's the one admiring.
Or maybe I should sit there and she admires me.
The speaker.
I'm not paid that 2,000. Oh, she's the speaker.
The speaker.
I'm not paid 2,000 kwacha to be admired or me to admire someone. I'm paid that 2,000 kwacha so that I speak for the people that brought me here.
But she doesn't allow us.
And then she stops me. So why are you paying me the 2,000 kwacha? I log in, my credentials, and you pay me 2,000 kwacha, and then you say the MP was in the house. I think we must start having very honest conversations. Gentlemen, being paid 2,000 kwacha times 30 days, that translates into 60,000 kwacha. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for the taxpayer in Lomezi. And then you come here, you want me to keep quiet. You have cholera in the country, you want me to keep quiet. You've got human-animal conflict, you want me to keep quiet. You've got tribalism, you want me to keep quiet. Everything is going from bad to worse, and you're expecting me to keep mute. Are we being fair to the taxpayer? Agree. Citizens wake, they report for wake from 7:45 in the morning to 17 hours. At minimum, Parliament will wake between 9 and 12, 14 and 19 hours. Why not even extend hours for members to talk? Because they're elected to speak for the people, not for themselves. I'm getting 60,000 kwacha when Parliament is in session for keeping quiet. And the new citizens, you applaud it. How? I think it's insanity. We must cure this country from that kind of thinking. We can't continue to say, no, if I keep quiet, I'll not be suspended. Come on, I would rather lose my allowance, but I would have represented the people that sent me to Parliament. This country is divided, and like we spoke, other members have spoken. Honestly, how do you call for prayers for the rains in February? Where are our priorities? Indeed, if we needed prayer, prayer has its own timings. But do you pray for rains at the end of February? Where were we in November, October to pray for the rains? Where were we to block the export of maize? I've received a message on my phone. Give me the privilege to read it for you. I don't know who sent it, but It's a strange number. This message came, Honorable, we are dying from hunger. Help us, your people. We are sorry for our wrong decision by voting in the worst president of Zambia. This message came not too long ago.
Dying of hunger.
Dying of hunger.
But my bodies in parliament.
Gentlemen, if we don't speak to realities, yesterday I deleted one minister's phone number from my phone in his presence. I told him I did not know that absolute power corrupts absolutely. And the colleagues, may the spirit of being corrupted by power not enter us.
Amen.
It's a bad spirit. Our friends have lost touch with reality. Our colleagues are gone. But you members of the press, if you can even blacklist them from covering their lives, you'll be doing us a service. Where we are, it does not look good. The dollar is still going forward. Fuel is going forward. But the living standards of our people are going down, backwards. I thank you.
Thank you so much, friends of the media. Thank you, fellow citizens. Like we did intimate when we started this interaction, we will be doing this kind of interaction with you on a weekly basis. The idea, like we said, in the beginning, is that we want to have ample time to speak to the many issues that are confronting the Zambian people. We feel that Parliament does not give us that liberty to be able to exhaust all these issues on a much deeper perspective. Let me just end by, correcting one issue, because I don't want you to go antagonizing our members of Parliament that they are getting 60. Now, that was said in case we sat for 60 days. We only for 30 days. We only sit for 16 days. So please don't think that your MPs get a lot of money. It's very reasonable. Plus, this is the money that they buy for your coffins in the villages. So once again, thank you so much, fellow citizens. We'll be with you next week on Thursday just to continue interacting. Let me also make an emphasis. We are not in the business of propaganda. And whatever issues we bring here will never be anything close to propaganda. For us, we'll stick to issues. We feel that the role of the opposition is to provide alternatives to the sitting, government. And what we are going to do is to give alternative solutions to the problems that are confronting the Zambian people, and nothing less than that. But we'll speak the truth. The ugly truth will come out from this table. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day.
Questions?
Is there any question, or everything is clear, guys?
Questions?
I think it's clear.
It's clear. Thank you so much.
How they write the story.